Hello. Okay, my voice is good. I'll just close the door, I reckon. Be better. Just 1 second. It's so weird to hear myself. Sorry. Hey guys, welcome to Strong with Raj, no nonsense strength training. This is my Christmas fasting update, the fast that I had for 36 hours. I keep getting confused. Is 32 or 36? Anyway, I broke the fast this morning, 9 o'clock, Brisbane, Australian Eastern Standard Time. And what a great experience it was. I must say that I was not sure and a bit concerned about how I will manage my craving for food last night. So during the day, not a problem. It is just the fact that I struggle with is that I'm going to sleep without any food, which should be the easiest part because you're just going to sleep, and usually I go to bed very late, like midnight. But I think that is the whole purpose of such exercise, the whole purpose of doing a challenge or going against the grain, as I call it, is to find out the answers for the questions you're very worried about, the questions that you don't want to face, the questions that you are very uncomfortable even acknowledging that exist. What will I do if I feel like this, if I do this? And you can think of things like jumping over a very high cliff. There's fear because there are questions. Anyway, so that was one thing that I was able to tackle, face, and lock my horns in as to what will I do when I think I'm very hungry and I'm going to struggle and it'll be in the night. So I had some preset plan for that, and my plan worked, and that was to just be busy, to keep myself occupied, not necessarily distracted. So I worked for a long time on my computer with so many things that you have to do as a YouTube content creator slash influencer. And I immersed myself in it. And I realized that hunger, the same hunger that I was avoiding, the same hunger that looked me into the eyes last night, something that I was worried about, that I'll be so hungry. We are all born with this thing called hunger and thirst. And here I'm taking a little metaphorical view on the hunger that I'm talking about. I was struggling and managing the actual hunger of the food. But what if you can create another hunger? The hunger to perform, the hunger to be busy and to occupy and to create something. I think we have enormous amount of energy when we are younger, and we have hunger naturally both ways, the physical hunger of food and the metaphorical hunger of doing something, the drive. Things like motivation, inspiration are very come and go. They come and go, but hunger stays with you, I would say, almost until the moment you die. So I was able to unearth and discover that hunger yesterday when I was managing the hunger for food, the cravings, the hunger pangs. I was able to have another hunger to work hard on my editing. There are so many AI tools that I'm checking out, and I had that hunger. In that hunger, I forgot the hunger, or I managed the hunger that was there as a challenge for me because of not eating for so long. That was the main concern I had. And everything else was easy. This morning, I must say that I behaved very well, calm, composed, and controlled when I was first faced with the food. I made some coffee, and Dr. Inga, my wonderful girlfriend, left me some food, and there was a croissant with some ham in it. And yeah, I was very slow in eating it. I wasn't rushing to eat like I would in my youth, like a caveman. So there was a restraint, there was a calmness, and there was a control. The ability that I have developed, the ability that you can all develop, to have the restraint, to just take a step back and then watch your actions and then do the action, is quite a superpower. You grow up and you have certain way of living and you have tendencies and you think that is you, that's how you will do and act in the world, and then one day things happen and then you realize, no, there is another way that I can approach this. I can witness myself to be a different person. I can craft an image of myself doing it differently. Being that different requires that restraint. First, it requires the awareness, the identification and acknowledgement that you have this thing that you do, you overeat. Then you have to have the hunger and the restraint, the ability to resist the temptation. I think it's a struggle with lots and lots of people, and perhaps I was pointing towards that for fasting, not just any day, fasting on Christmas. Going absolutely against the grain. When it is time to eat, drink, and be merry, I decided to go the other way. And for that, I had to call for all of my other hunger, call for all of my restraints, and just manage those situations by observing myself from a distance, by creating a space within what is me and what could be me, and then let things happen. To me, my achievement is that I did better by not eating lots as breaking the fast, which is what I had planned for, and how after that I just did not feel that I'll have my lunch. My plan was to have breakfast, small breakfast, which is breaking the fast, and then to have big lunch, really big lunch with Boxing Day cricket going on, test match in Melbourne. But I just don't feel hungry. Cricket is on break right now. So yes, I think this would be my next step when it comes to fasting, to figure out that the subsequent meal is a bit further away, and it is not an outcome of feeling extremely hungry and just eating the house down, which I have done. I have very big appetite. I have a huge appetite, and that was my point. Like, I have grown up to be told and to be observed, and I told myself that I have big appetite, so I ate a lot. But then, can I just separate myself from that identity and see, And yes, I am thankful to some of the people, my friends and my daughter, my girlfriend, to support me in this, because that is another big concern we all have at any time, as to what will people say, how will they react, how much I won't be supported, how much will they criticize me, and that is another thing that can happen once you do something against the grain. You will find out exactly who is with you and who's not, and that's fine, because you want to know really what is the impact it'll have, not only on you but your peers. And I had pretty positive support. And I was having a very interesting chat with my girlfriend yesterday. We were exploring all the things that we could do within our capabilities that is against the grain. Just all sorts of ideas. You know, I used to do ice bath, which is very much against the grain and very much against the core nature of us. The core nature of us loves warm and cozy environment. And But yet I wanted to go that way. Thanks to Wim Hof and the trend, the kind of movement he started, and overall the kind of movement that was going on in internet then and even now. And she came up with an idea of going for a walk with me and not talking. Yes, silence. I have, well, how should I say, in silent, I have thought a lot about silence and how to just keep it within you. It is a kind of practice that is done in India traditionally. It is not new to me. I have done it a few times. And then I said, yes, that's a good one, that we have done something like that before. I have done twice, I have done 2 days of no talking to anyone, no communication whatsoever. And that was challenging. She has done Vipassana, which is 10 days of noble silence. It is a practice in Buddhism. And then I said that I have done something against the grain, but very safe. And it's for the whole day, I did not use my right hand. I just, for everything I was doing, I was using my left hand. And I think I had a weird, unusual kind of headache, a kind of discomfort on the left side of the brain. It was very interesting. But that is what it is. Like, it could be a very simple thing to do to challenge yourself on normal basis, you know. Challenge just not to talk for a few hours, or for some it could be not posting on Facebook. And I think against the grain is such a wonderful way to express. It's a phrase which is there within our language, and we only use it for when somebody else is doing it, when somebody else breaks the tradition, challenges the norm, and is unconventional. But the value that it has for you to transform yourself, I think, is what needs to be looked at. Just the value that it will provide you later on, not a consequence. How it will fortify your identity within yourself. How it will strengthen your resolve in handling things. I am definite that I will be doing fasting more often, and it will be part of my lifestyle in one way or other. There are a few things that I have to be very careful of, and I speak that because I am quite, on a surface level, mostly against losing weight. But that's a topic for a different day. Anyway, so I lift heavy stuff. To me, muscle is the currency with which I deal, and amount of strength I can produce against the heavy bars. So I have to be careful that I don't lose weight to the point that I start losing muscle, the muscle that we all very work hard to develop. So my fasting has to be, I just need to do more work to eventually craft out the right way of fasting for myself. I have fasted before in 2016, and that was a mistake. That was an extreme sort of fasting that I did. I lost weight and I realized, okay, that is not the safe and the most productive way of fasting. And since then, I've gotten bigger and strong and haven't looked back. But there has been times recently that I realized my metabolism wasn't as good as it was, and I was putting a little bit of fat. So after returning from India, I wanted to either do carnivore diet or fasting, and fasting was much easier because A, I don't have that kind of appetite anymore, and B, I just live by myself, so cooking is not so, top of my list. And yes, so I have to be careful that I do not end up losing strength and muscle gain because of fasting. So my approach will be different, and I'm glad that I'm in this category, so I can perhaps convey these to many people out there who do fasting or any other kind of diet in a bit uninformed manner and actually find out it hasn't worked for them, and then they say that that thing didn't work for me, but the main thing is that you and your approach wasn't the correct. So that's something that I will be very careful of. This time around, when I started fasting maybe a year ago, I took a lot from Dr. Andrew Huberman and his podcast. The science of how fasting is beneficial for you is something I don't need to talk about. Everyone knows, but he pointed out some very crucial concepts. Other than that, he stuck to his unique selling feature that he has, that he provides zero cost science-based methods and tips, which was to for normal, most people, the kind of fasting that is possible is to don't eat anything after you have woken up for at least 1 hour. So that's what I've been doing. And also, before you go to sleep, make sure you eat only 3 hours prior to that. It made a lot of difference. So I practiced that for 6 months or a year, and then I was extending my fast further. So I have gone through a little bit of process myself, and it has worked for me. And so those are the two things I think every individual should look into. What is the best way they can approach, and what fits their lifestyle, their commitment, their jobs and family. And secondly, that make sure you do not lose any muscle. This doesn't come easy, so you don't want to lose it. And I don't mean this muscle, everywhere. I did I played a little game at work, and I asked people to guess what my weight is. And most of them were absolutely short. That's all I will give you. If you guys are watching me, if you've seen me lifting, I like you guys to guess how much do I weigh. And my height is 5'8", for those who wants to know. And it's quite a good game to know how people perceive things, perception of people's body, figure, image, and then they derive a figure such as weight and also the age. So that has helped me a lot, some sort of subjective information that I've got from others to observe that, Kyle, you are 4 kgs short. I'm 100 kg, 101. So when I came back from India, I was 104 and 5, and I wasn't comfortable with that. I had a bit of a belly, and which I knew because I was going to India. So people have guessed 87 kgs. People have guessed 80 kgs recently. And I just play this game, and I tell them I won't be offended. And in most cases, it's a compliment anyway, that they think I'm so lighter, and they are really surprised. And that is just lifting. When you lift weights, just simple back squats, deadlift, bench press, and overhead press. That's post fast. Yeah. So, and I haven't weighed myself exactly pre or post fast. Maybe that's something I could do, but I suppose in the last 2 weeks since I came back from India, that has been what's happening. And I've played this game of people guessing my game before as well many times, and every time I've done it, they are very sure. So yeah, the deadlift, squats, bench press, overhead press, that's all I have been doing from last 7-8 years. There has been a lot of temptations, like I said, to just veer away and do something else. And that is what I'm talking about. The ability to resist, to do what brings you result in long term, and the ability to resist to not do what you think will work and tempts you, such as, sit-ups or bicep curls and all that. So that has been my learning. Fasting is such an easily accessible tool, method that we all have. It is so unique. It is not a diet, because in a diet you have to follow something. In fasting you just don't eat. So that's very simple. There are things that will make sure that fasting will not work, and I think I've done it. One of them is just eating a huge, big meal. Yeah, I've done that as well, where I definitely have gone over the calorie count, which I would be if I was just eating normal 3 meals. So that is really good. So many layers of knowledge that you get by experiencing it yourself, whether that is that you were wrong or whether that you've nailed it. So that way, I think for me, there is a lot more to explore about fasting and look back about the things that I was wrong when I have done fasting in the past. Would be good learning curve for the rapid reduction and rebound effect of glycogen loss due to fasting. Yes, for what I understand, the amazing benefits of fasting is quite a result of the yo-yo of the blood glucose level, which goes up and down because you eat so many times during the day as opposed to not eating for a long time. So your blood glucose level will be stable because your pancreas are not having to react to the food that you are providing, whether it is carbohydrates or protein. I don't think so it matters much. So yeah, absence of food in general is beyond doubt now that it is good for our health. And also it is, I'm referring to the context in which we live, which is life affluence, lots of food everywhere. I've come with a bit of a statement while I was doing my fasting, and I've shared this with few people, that in first world affluent developed countries, eating is counterproductive. Anyway, so there is a magical thing that happens. I think I'll make a video later on, and I'll only make it when I know more about it. Is a phenomena which happens when you're fasting. Is called autophagy. Autophagy. I was thinking about it, whether I will have that state of autophagy when I would do 36 hours of fasting. I'm not sure. I think to actually know the autophagy is happening, you have to have very invasive ways of testing. But subjectively, maybe I'm yet to get there. But my conquest is just one thing, that I didn't have that hunger pangs, that strong craving for food after not eating for that long. I had a different kind of hunger. The hunger to just be busy and be occupied and not be distracted. Anyway, guys, that was a quick wrap. I was hoping to have a big lunch, but I don't think so I'll need it. But here is the problem, like tonight or the evening, I will go to the gym. So, and I like going to the gym empty stomach or half. So either I have a little bit of snack soon, but I'm not hungry for it at all, or go to the gym in the evening and have a late dinner. And that is something that each individual will have to balance and find out what works for them, especially for people, those who are regular going to the gym or do lifting or any of the physical, endeavors that they have. It can also be challenging for someone who doesn't go to gym, who's not active, who's got 4 kids and couple, wife, and they have to manage, they have to eat, then they eat, and then shift work. So all in all, it's very challenging. But why would you not take a challenge? Why would you just live simply? Three to 5 per gram of glycogen in skeletal muscle. Yeah, I think when we speak of, Kyle, when we speak of weight loss, when we just say I've lost 10 kgs and people are very happy and celebrating, and my problem is that how do you know what have you lost? Just because you are 10 kgs lighter, it is entirely possible that you lost something which makes and takes a lot of time and process to make, i.e. muscle. And that is my concern. A very experienced professional pro bodybuilder like Kyle could comment on that, because their whole game is to make muscles and also lose towards the close of their season. They do it all the time, and they will be the right person to comment on it. I would not want to be in a position where I'm losing my muscles. No. And I'm very, very aware of it. Obviously, at the same time, I wouldn't want to be big and fat. But yeah, the loss of water molecules, I think, because of the fact that we are over 70% water, whatever way that we lose, we are going to lose that in the form of water. And I'm not saying that, muscle has this much water. Everything has water in it. My indicators are that I'm not feeling weak, and I'm not feeling too hungry all the time and having to just starve. Fasting is not starving. And my indicators are that I still have energy, and my indicators would be that my strength. I know that I've been lifting and squatting and deadlifting for a while, and I know my numbers here. I know the range in which I operate. If that range goes down significantly for a significant amount of time, I just know that whatever I'm doing is not working for me, and I take it from there. Right now, I'm in the phase of just lifting lighter and a hybrid model of training where I'm doing hypertrophy a little bit with chest and shoulders, and I'm just trying to stay in medium weight for squats and bringing back my deadlift. So it's a kind of rebuild phase for me, at least when it comes to deadlifting, because most of you might know I had some problem with SI joint. But anyway, guys, enough of the Boxing Day wrap. Wonderful experience of fasting. I did it at the end, the 36 hours, quite easily, that I can see myself doing it again, but I don't want to get carried away and just wither away, I should say. And so I'm at 100 kg weight, and I'm happy with it. It's looking good so far, but I'm keeping a close eye on what I can lift, because to me that is a real indicator. I'm happy to go lose more weight, let's say from 100 to 95 or 100, but I do know that there are ways and mechanism and training in which that you can still up your weight on the bar, which is what matters to me. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this little update. I was dying to share this with you. Fasting is magic. See you later.